pops up. Okay, so chapter 11 is all about effective language. Okay, so in your bell ringer today, how many of you finished your bell ringer? Some of you did, some of you did not. Okay, your bell ringer asked you to define 4 words: connotation and denotation and concrete and abstract. Okay, they all have to do with how we use words. Connotations, denotations are the dictionary definitions of words. Connotations are the feelings associated with words. Did you know words had feelings associated with them? They do. Like, think about this. It's often a negative or a positive feeling is what we're talking about with connotations. If I said somebody was skinny, does that sound like a good thing? If somebody is described as skinny. Well, if we say skinny, it usually has the connotation that they're too thin, okay? If we say they're slim, however, that's usually a positive thing. Sounds good, okay? If we say somebody is guilty of something, we usually associate negative feelings with it. If they're guilty, they did something wrong, all right? So those are connotations that we have, and words have a lot of connotations that go with them. And when we're putting a speech together, we need to consider that. Politicians do this all the time, or business people, a car salesman trying to sell us something or get us to vote a certain way. They will choose words very carefully that will strike emotions in you. Either if they're talking against someone else, they'll use negative words. If they are words with negative connotations, if they want you to feel good about that person or that thing, they'll use words with positive connotations, okay? So we want to make sure that we understand that those are the connotations, the negative and positive feelings we have that come out with certain words, okay? And then, as I said, the denotations are the dictionary definition of the word. Now, concrete and abstract, when we're talking about words, we're actually talking about concrete and abstract nouns, okay? Your nouns are the names of things, like a table. It's a concrete word. Concrete means it's a word that you can see or hear or touch or smell it or, whatever it is. If you can see it or feel it or whatever with your 5 senses, any of those senses, that's usually a concrete word. Abstract words are words that are used when we're talking about things that are more like a feeling or an idea, like the idea of freedom or the feeling of love. Those are abstract things, okay? They're not actual objects or something that we can see or hear or something. So those are your concrete words. But language choice, word choice, or effective language also involves more than that. It involves choosing carefully how you construct a sentence. Don't get all wordy. How many of you, you have to write an essay or something, and you just make your sentences as long as you possibly can and wordy because you're trying to fill out, you're trying to make your essay long enough. Do you do that? Have you ever done that? Okay. Well, that's okay sometimes, but most of the time we want to keep it, we use the word succinct, straight and to the point, especially in speaking. You want to try and not be so wordy and flowery. You want to get to the point because the audience, especially in speaking, the audience is listening to you. And if you get these long, convoluted sentences, they're going to start tuning you out, and you don't want that, all right? So you want to make sure that you, I don't want to say condense your sentences, but don't say any more in your sentence than you need to, okay? So the exercise I have for you, there are actually 4 pages to it, but you need to do 3 of the pages. Okay, because the second page is a repeat of the first one, and I tried to remove it, and I could not. When I scanned it, it all all of the pages came through, and the first one a second time, okay? So only do the first, third, and fourth pages. The fourth page in the exercise gives you some sentences, and it asks you to condense those sentences, to shorten them up, okay? You have to say the same things, but in a shorter way, a briefer way. That's what the last page is asking you to do. The other 2 pages, you need to take a look at chapter 11. They've got the words for you. You need to fill in the blanks. I think it has the words for you. Let me pull it open. Let's make sure. But it says chapter 11, effective language, is what the name of it is. Come on. Where's the rest of it there? Oh, it says chapter 11, language choice. Okay. And you've got the online textbook. It says read chapter 11 from the text and do the attached worksheets. Please do the first page only once. I'm sorry, but I scanned it twice by accident. There are 3 pages that you do need to complete. The first, the third, and the fourth. Okay. So here's what it looks like. All right. So yeah, you've got a list of words to choose from. Irony, hyperbole. Some of these things are terms we use in English all the time. What's irony?
Things that like predict.
Well, sometimes there are ironic situations, situational irony, where it might predict what's going to happen in a story. But irony, usually we're saying one thing and meaning another, is typically how we use it. Hyperbole, anybody remember what hyperbole is? Exaggeration, okay? That's what hyperbole is. Slang, concrete words, oxymoron. Anybody give me an example of an oxymoron? Jumbo shrimp, where the 2 words seem to be opposite each other. That's an oxymoron. Jargon. Jargon is any kind of words that we use that go with a particular field, or like there are certain terms that are used only in teaching or in dentistry or the medical field or in skiing or football or something. That would be jargon. Understatement, that's understating something. Exaggerating is the opposite of understating. Abstract words, parallelism, when we have similar phrasing of words. Allusions, when we make references to something. Denotation, personification, consonants, antithesis, euphemisms, connotations, assonance, imagery, repetition, metaphor, alliteration, and simile. You're going to use those words for 1 through, here you're going to skip that, 1 through 22, okay? Then the last part, that's where you're going to, it's called economy of language. Rewrite each sentence on the lines provided so that it is more economical, meaning it's shorter. Here's the first one. In the heavy, wet rainstorm, we could hardly see the road ahead of us. Do we need to say heavy and wet when we're saying a rainstorm? No, because rainstorm itself tells us it's pretty heavy and rain is wet. I don't know any rain that is not wet. So you could say, we can hardly see the road ahead of us in the rainstorm, and it would be perfectly fine. Okay. So find a way to condense these sentences. You got 6 of them? Yeah. Okay. So that's what I want you to work on now. Questions? You have the online textbook to help you out. Oops, what happened there? All righty. David, you are free to stay on, or you are free to exit. And I'll leave this on if you need me.